Welcome to Peace Out Witches. Today's episode is raw, unfiltered, and recorded in January on the night of election in America. A night of intense emotions, uncertainty, and a perfect reflection of duality in action. Jamie and I are sitting together as we talk about the division of unity, fear and hope, chaos and stillness. Before we dive in, I'd like you to take a deep breath and exhale slowly. Let yourself arrive in this moment and think about the tensions of the unknown, the pool of both light and dark. As we navigate this conversation, set the intention to hold space for both sides of yourself, the contradictions and the wisdom they bring. In today's episode, we will cover what is duality and why we experience it, the push and pull between light and shadow, and how to sit with discomfort and still find peace. Through these lessons, we learn contrast and challenge, how to navigate our own experiences of duality, and embrace all parts of ourself. We hope that you'll join us for our next episode on the witch, reclaiming the word, and owning the power. And until then, if you would like to learn more about monthly rituals or moon teachings or transformation, we hope that you will join us at peacenotperfectionacademy.com and learn all about our events, retreats, and different things that we have going on a weekly and monthly basis. Thank you for being here, and we hope you enjoy this episode of Peace Out Witches. Off kilter
Okay,
podcast
welcome
talk.
to Peace Out Witches podcast. We are talking about it's election night, and we take it to the level of spirituality and the spiritual warfare that many of us feel energetically daily. And but there's so many prophecies coming to light, so many biblical, so many foreseen through people who can forecast the future, and it's frightening, but I signed on for this, so I'm kind of excited. I think it's so interesting. I have a
And
different
I
perspective. I'm not
and I
afraid.
remember being young and like reading Revelations, and even though
Yeah.
here at Peace Out Witches we believe in a lot of different things, I went very far down the rabbit hole first in my Christianity and my love for Jesus. And so going into Revelations was always like, I read it, I did it, but I'm not going to like do it again. I'm not going to spend a whole session talking about what I thought
I
about
loved it.
it.
Oh, I did it.
Um, I never was really ready to go there. And I think part of that was really not being ready to be a crone either, like that part of
Hmm.
aging and death and
Facing that
existence and
mortality.
non-existence, right?
Yeah.
Um, but I
Yeah, that's so true.
definitely feel more ready now and I understand it and I've read it multiple times since and other
Uh-huh.
things as well because we all cultures have a origin story and all cultures have a end story. And so
That's true.
if you then research in the way that Waldorf does, which is first by myth and then by fact, um, you're able to like go down and see all of these beautiful stories and things that our people shared and the reason
Yeah.
that they shared them and how they were trying to keep with us the knowledge. And, that's just part of growth, right? Like I still look at 20-year-olds and see them as babies, but realize that still at 40, I'm a baby too. So um, it's just this weird existence to agree to live through something and yet be also living through it.
Right. And it just feels like we were just saying that these times feel super wicked. Like there's a lot of evil and a lot of temptation. It's so easy, and the ability to deceive by the evil presence of whatever that is, I don't put a name to it, is so prevalent and seductive that you don't even know that you are being seduced into it. And
Mm,
so it's just become such a technology in a sense, you know what I mean?
yeah.
So it's like you're just living your life and these things are coming to make your life easier, but some of these things that make our life easier and more simple are actually just evil doing evil's work and asking you to participate and without you even knowing. So there is that vibration and people feel it. I think light workers really feel it, and some are conscious of it and know where those feelings come from, and some of us are like, gosh, I feel these feelings, but I don't exactly know. And That's because there's such a density at this time. And I think that's why we're in the end of times. I mean, if we're really going to go there, I do feel like we're living in that revelation time. And I think so many of us chose to come on board and experience this life and bring our light and our joy and to hold space and have children and make choices that are against the norm so that our children can keep going and keep proliferating this planet in a good, positive way. But yeah, it's just right now, it's just really
I think
intense.
it's the duality. I mean, when you're dealing with election night, you're dealing with duality, right? You're dealing with this aspect of um, what one believes is good and evil, or what one believes is their God, and what one believes isn't or isn't, right? Like it's not
Right.
even about the election piece of who's God or who isn't. But if
No,
I
it's
believe in
not.
God, I believe my God is holy and only and of all
Mhm.
existence. And if you believe in your God, you're going to believe in your God being holy
Right.
and all of existence. So we're never going to meet in the middle there because it's always going to be yours and mine's always going to be mine. Like so then where does that love have to come in and that healing
Like
and that
collectively.
aspect
Mhm.
to be able to look at one another no matter what comes and say, all right, we did it. We did it
Mhm.
together and here we
We
are
helped
and
each
now we're going to have
other.
to reap
Mhm.
what we've done
Mhm.
and we also need to work together to,
Heal.
support each
Mhm.
other because we're all living in this duality of
Mhm.
um light and dark or pain and suffering. That's
And
not a
that's why I think
duality.
it's super, well, I do think it's super important that if you start to do the inner work, like we all encourage, we
Hmm.
at Peace Not Perfection encourage, do the inner work, do your healing. If you're triggered, find out why you're triggered, do the clearing, clear layers of that because you will hold more light. More light will
Hmm.
come from you. And if you don't want to call it light, which is totally fine, you could call it joy. You
Yeah.
can hold the balance of joy, of joyful presence and what in this life and being in your day and being a part of your family or whatever you choose to be a part of. And that collectively is like an energetic impulse from all of us that can push away that duality, could push away the darkness. It could
Mhm.
allow more peace, more balance and light. And not necessarily Shambhala. I mean, I know the mystics want us to push for Shambhala, but I think at this moment it would just be nice to have
Wait, what
peace.
what is that? Can you explain?
Shambhala is like that enlightened state where everyone lives in harmony and peace. And there is the temptation is not there. It is all about love and peace and harmony.
Harmony.
And all of the mysteries talk about this. So even the Buddhist mysteries, the Rosicrucians, the mystery schools, all of them talk about the 1,000 years of peace. So this is also in Revelations, and this would be Shambhala. That would be what we would love to move towards instead of being obliterated, like many other societies before us supposedly have been, which I believe, such as like the Babylonians or the other beings that were here and they left their
Hmm.
mark, whether in mysticism or otherwise, actual
Right.
physical presence.
Well, and my
Egyptian.
husband's been going down the rabbit hole of the TV show that's all about the ancients, and he goes really on a discovery of trying to prove that there is an ancient people that we don't have in history, right? That we have just not learned about because we wake up and we are dumb to everything. We don't know anything, right? We're silent and quiet to all. And so um, it opens you up to asking questions that I
Mhm.
think goes back to that aspect of living in the time that we're in right now, where I think a lot of us feel duped. We feel fucking duped. Okay. I'm sorry. We feel duped. All of our people have been duped. All of our people have been ruined. They ruined like all my childhood. I can't eat cereal. I can't.
Right.
It's
When the
it's
veil
this
is lifted, absolutely.
it's
Yes,
this
that is the
aspect
awakening.
of being
Hmm.
fucking duped. And
Mhm.
it's hard to take when you grow up in a culture where we did those things, right? Like you listened to these music and you watched these movies and these TV shows, or you lived in this existence of the 80s where maybe there wasn't tech, but then there was tech. And we've seen all the things that are going on, and it's just an instant interesting time to be living through right here, right now,
And raising kids in. That's the big
and
piece.
woo, and raising kids in, and yeah. So, these are just the kind of conversations that Jamie and I have on a daily basis, and we thought that maybe we should start sharing them with people. Maybe other people are feeling the way that we're feeling, and maybe other people are feeling called to talk about it or hear about it, or just have sisterhood in the fact that we are living through an existence that we can create whatever we want to create in,
Hmm.
while also understanding that there is this other piece that's happening. And I love so much that talked recently in what I call my muggle job. And a quote was said, and it was my favorite thing that I'm now liking right now because it really is from Simon Sinek. So I hope I'm saying that right. I'm probably not my dyslexic self. I'm sorry. But optimism allows for reality. And I've always thought that I was a positive person and I've always known that I was optimistic. But the difference between being positive and being optimistic, and I really liked that outview of the fact that we can be optimistic, but still allow for the unfolding to happen and still allow for us to live in this duality and this reality of what is
And
going
face
on.
challenges. And face our challenges. But optimism is definitely facing the challenges of life, but knowing there's a solution.
Yeah.
And positivity is more of a vibration of I live in my pink bubble and I'm not allowing any of that negativity in, which is fine too. Positivity and optimism go hand in hand, and you vacillate between different emotions all the time, but it's great to have those two kind of in your pocket most of the day and most of your life because you will create your most beautiful life. Even amidst all the things we know and understand, have come to understand about the time we live in, we can still co-create with God or the universe or whomever you subscribe to and have those beautiful, joyful things that you came here to experience and live your life and live your light and give it outward and put it out to the people who are meant to receive it. And so optimism is a great word. And I think it's definitely overlooked. Like positivity is taken over. And it's like optimism is seeing the challenges of life, but knowing that there's a solution and knowing there's a way through it.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
how I
and
see it.
I've
Mhm.
always been a yeah, I can do that kind of person.
Yeah, you are so
Um,
good.
And so, there
Super good.
are a lot of those pieces, but I think the reality of what allows me to be so optimistic and allows me to be able to say, yeah, I can do that is two things. Number one,
Mhm.
my dad said can't wasn't an issue, like a word in our house. And I think
I
that
love
that really
it.
ingrained deep in me. And then the second thing is being able to have conversations like this and not be afraid to say,
Mhm.
oh, I feel this other way and I want to talk about it
Yeah.
or I want to experience it or I want to communicate it
Mhm.
without the shame and guilt that can be attached to feeling like, um, yeah, damn,
Mhm.
here we are, like I was going to be first woman president. I was. Maybe I will, who
Not
knows?
funny.
But what
I
I'm
love it.
saying is there's still that little piece. And so I like that we get to have these conversations because it allows for that optimism and that
Mhm.
positivity to come forth and allows us to be able to sit in the reality while also experiencing it and also being able to then say, okay, now what?
And we're not forgetting the other realities that may exist and the possibilities and potentials of this world. We're accepting because that's the shadow piece that we are embracing the shadow of the world of the earth in our optimism because there are people who have overcome their circumstances and there are people who have been through deep trauma and still have served their purpose and made it through the school of life and died and moved on to be bigger and greater beings of light wherever they moved on to because they did the work they were meant to do. And
Well,
so it's just a beautiful time
I
to
think
see
that
that.
also brings us a lot to our why.
Hmm.
So, Jamie, why peace out witches? Why peace not perfection? Why us? Why?
Why? Because my personal mission statement is to remind all beings that I come in contact with that they're here for a higher purpose and that they are meant to be here for a reason. And that the healing work comes and you do the work and you peel layers back and your purpose will become more clear and you'll be able to take steps forward. And also just the liberation of helping people to see that there's more to life than what they've been conditioned with, like you talked about watching movies or being programmed when we were children. And psychologists talk about this, and people are like, I've heard this, I'm triggered and I don't want to do the work, or it's too much, or I'm not triggered. I'm just going to escape with a beer, or whatever it is. But when you don't choose that choice and you choose to like go, why am I freaking here? Why am I triggered? And why do I feel these feelings? And why? And you start asking all the right questions, then you get on your path and you can help other people. And then we can bring more light to the world. And that's a very basic answer. It's not like, yeah. So what about for you? Why? Why?
My why is to help,
Hmm.
um, and to, I think, bring healing, because I had so many people along the way who showed up and
Hmm.
who taught me and who held me and who supported me and who let me fall apart and let me get back together again. Um, that I really wanted to take all these tools and all of these things that I had, and I wanted to share it in a way that maybe reaches someone and lets them know that they're not alone, and that this healing journey can be fucking hard, and that it can also be really beautiful and amazing and worth it, and that we did choose to live during this time right here in this duality. And whether we believe it's end times or whether we believe we're in a simulation or whether we believe we're just
I
here
know
in existence and
so
don't know
much.
why or do know why,
Hmm.
for us, it's meant to be shared.
Hmm.
And when we share it, others want to come along and they want to share more. And so we're just putting it out there and we're allowing the why and the optimism and the name of Peace Not Perfection Academy, which builds our podcast of Peace Out, which is to be just that, right? Like we want to bring that peace, but we also want to sometimes just be like, fuck off. It's okay. Chill out.
Hmm.
You need
And
a
you're
chill
not
pill. Peace
alone.
out. It's not
And
all
you're not
fucking,
alone.
it's not
Mm-mm.
all love all the time.
Yeah. And that you just said so many great things. Like you hold space for women in a way that they know that when you're in their orbit, they're not alone. They'll never be alone. And that kind of security feels so nurturing. And you do fulfill that purpose that you have, and you do it very well. And then there's women who are like, I want to do that too. And if you want to do that too, just come on board because you should do that. And you probably already do it. And you know that that's something that's inside of you that you do just organically. So come join us and keep listening and keep reaching out, and we're real people. So just email us, get on our website, poke around, see what you see. We have lots of freebies on there.
Yeah. Well, and comment below. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know if
Mhm.
you're liking these kind of conversations.
Mhm.
Do you want to go deeper? Do you want to go deeper on any one particular thing?
Mhm.
We are going to be doing this a lot, and sometimes they're going to be raw, like tonight was, and sometimes they're going to be more, all right, this is what we're going to be talking about tonight. So come
Mhm.
along for the journey. Let us know what you're thinking, and we hope you come back soon.
Thank you. Peace out, witches.
Peace out,
Bye,
witches.
Felicia.